All right, here we are again, Ultimate Studios Inc., live from North Hollywood. And today I'll do part 2 of having fun with the blues. So what is having fun? Having fun is basically doing more than just the average, let's say, indications that they give you. You know, hey, when you play the blues, just go play the blues scale. All right, so this guy. Alright, and I'm right now talking about major blues, right? So the major blues is the one that sounds majory, right? So with that, with a major third in it. So every time you hear, that's a major sounding blues, okay? When you hear this, minor blues, okay? And the one big difference is that in the minor blues, it's just one key, right? But when you play the major blues, you got 3 keys, right? Theory. This is the theory of it, right? A7, and D7, and then E7. Right? There's only one dominant chord per major scale, so we have 3 major scales. And since we're focusing on the dominant chord, we'll play the 5th mode of the major scale. So in this case, Mixolydian. Mixolydian is what? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Now, can I play one key throughout everything? It's like, no, because when you play the 4 chord, see, there's a change happening between, see that move, right? So you change in keys. And then when you go to the 5 chord, you change that note, okay? So it's basically these tritones change. So you gotta adjust to that. So last week, I talked about some things that I would do, like arpeggios, some pentatonic stuff. And today I'll add on to all of that. And I play some arpeggios, right? So you can sequence them. Now the fun thing you can do with this is, like, let's say you grab that one particular sequence. Continue. I can add passing notes to that. So I can go. All right, it just gives me more options. So if I do something in certain subdivisions, let's say triplets, 16 notes, or even eighth notes, there's just more options. It's just, instead of that arpeggio only. Now, you have to keep in mind that when we do the blues, you've got to adjust for every one of these chords. So you have to listen or remember where the changes happen in the major blues chord progression. So you got to keep that in mind, right? And we're doing quick change. So let's just see what this sounds like. I'll do it only over the A, right? So you can hear it. So it gives you more tools, right? It's just more exciting. I'm just adding chromatic notes. So who we got here? All right, Jonah, what up? Okay, and oh, okay, Julian, all right. So I'm just using the easiest shape to start with, right? Which is, so you basically, you fill out the half steps. Right? And then you can create other cool licks out of this one. So one, I would say, cliche lick is this one. Or the other way. Or it's just a long, long line that you can just improvise with. Right? Or backwards, right? It's just, the possibilities are endless. Just remember to not like land on or stay on any of the non-chord tones, right? Remember, the chord tones are always, right? So if you look at it, it's pretty much the outside of every one of these little boxes. So don't be like, random hitting certain notes. It's like, no, just make it a passing chromatic line. Okay. Now with that in mind, I can add all the other cool passing notes that are there. So one that I take from the blues is the flat 5. Right, that's a very, very useful shape, and it's very symmetrical looking. And then once you play it very fast, it just becomes very aggressive, right? And you can do little things like add a right-hand palm mute, so it becomes a little more percussive. So instead of being playing it very open, it's a little messy, right? Especially when you use a lot of gain, like I do. It's a little messy, so I palm you slightly. All right, and the way I'm picking this is just up, hammer, pull up, and then pick. So your left hand has to do a little bit of work. All right, and then you can move that around. I mean, you don't have to do it only on that shape. You can also do things like, see, that's for example for the 5 chord. And 4 chord. So great for the turnaround. Right? You can also use some open strings if you want, and that is reminiscent of a very famous guitar player. All right? You want to try to guess what famous piece that is from. But it's a use of open strings. All right? And open strings are always fun on the electric guitar because it gives you a little bit of freedom, right? And also the percussive ability and make it even more fun. So that's one example I use, right? All right, so let's just hear that in context. Here we go. Oh, aha, yeah, good guess, guys. Yep, you got it. You got it, correct. Yes, correct. Yep, good old Eddie. Here you go. Always lots of fun. Now, what are other licks that are kind of like chromatic in that sense? Well, there's another lick that the guy you guessed also does these kind of things. Or down here. It's a little easier up here because you don't have to stretch so much. So what am I doing? I'm just doing flat 5, 5, flat 7. So it's great for the A sound, right? All right, and then for the D, just move it up, right? So then it becomes the flat 5 of D, 5, and then flat 7. All right, so let's hear that. That's pretty cool. Very cool, right? It just adds that greasy, just yeah. And that's the only thing I'm doing, it's just a flat 5. So it's using the blues that everybody tells you to use. This is a more flashy way, just having more fun and then actually doing rhythmic subdivisions. Another thing I like to do is have some little tapping thing, right? Right? So what am I tapping? Basically just tapping the note that is a whole step up above because I'm bending, right? I'm not just going, I'm actually bending. So you have to know that what you're bending is contributing to shifting what you're tapping. So if I'm bending from G to A, if I want to tap an E, I cannot tap the E because then the E will transform into an F sharp. So I gotta tap the D. See, so I'm tapping, that's the D. Becomes an E when you bend, right? Alright, so you can just pivot between all these pitches. For example, at the end, here, only bending a half step. So here you have to be careful because if you tap, if you want to hear that, you gotta go, you gotta tap a half step below, right? So these are little funny things and fun things you can do. All right, yeah. And another thing you can do, since we're doing the tap, not to tap in a way that I do all scales and stuff. I mean, that's fun in itself, but I'm just doing, you know, tap here, tap there, just to emphasize certain notes. Now, when you want to go into the more intervallic stuff, then you can actually add certain sequences. For example, in the pentatonic, let's say I want to grab the minor pentatonic per se, and then you create these triplets, right? Right, and then fast, they actually are fun because when you play them slow, it just sounds a lot like a sequence. But if you play them very fast, now you can really create excitement that way. And usually the way I like to use them is if I play, for example, on the A chord, I try to point out that I want to make that A major sound. Then if that is, because it's, sometimes you have to really be aware of what you're tapping and then it takes a while to learn it. But if you just want to start with the pentatonic, the minor pentatonic, you can just do it. Now the challenge about all these little techniques is once you go more specific. In this case, let's say if I want to do an actual arpeggio. Right, so that's actually pretty hard to do. Now, when you do all these things, sometimes you have to move the whole shape because trying to find, let's say, another voicing, you have to really make sure the transition is smooth because, let's say, if I want to go from this voicing to the one that's here, see, I gotta change where I'm tapping the other part because this one is very hard to grab, so I gotta change the shape of the arpeggio so I can actually play it. Right? So these are a little more challenging, right? Technically, but there are lots of fun. Then I also like to use the actual Mixolydian pentatonics. I like to use those a lot. So what is that? It's basically so the only difference to the minor pentatonic is just the major third. This is the same. This becomes and this and this. That's just Mixolydian pentatonic. That's all it is. Okay, so do one more example, and then that's it for today, right? Lots of fun. Here we go. All right, let's see, any questions got here? No, I'm doing a dominant blues here, right? So just remember, this is not minor what I'm doing, right? It's not. I'm just doing major, right? So it's all dominant. All right, so three different keys, right? So I'm just adjusting for every chord, right? So this is not the minor blues. This is just major blues, right? Dominant blues. Right? So yeah, keep that in mind, right? All the things that I'm doing are just for dominant or Mixolydian, right? Cool. So that's it, folks. That's all I got, and I'll see you next time, all right, for some more fun.